So things have started to settle in. I've been getting used to a new normal, but around me, things are changing for everyone. Um, when Janice came over and yelled at me about the maintenance men's alleged allegations against me, um, I decided to go through the house and make sure that absolutely everything was lease compliant. So I got rid of the garden. I got, I had some hanging shelves, I took them down. Even though the hooks are still there in some places. And when I came back, some of my other neighbors were moving out. And I get the impression that my landlady is going through menopause kind of badly. And it's been, ever since the rebuild started, she's been a different person. I've been a different person. And I think there was something she was supposed to do and she didn't do it. And as I said before, I've been talking to the spirit that's been consuming her. She said when I moved in that I seemed like the kind of person that would think that I was talking to her all the time, when there's a spirit here that has her voice, and but it's not really her, and it's not really her thoughts, which is really a shame, because whatever this is, it's consuming the part of her that would have manifested if she had been honest about, like, the oaths to the government and stuff like that. Now, I tend to see people in the hierarchy, and that the person above her isn't taking care of that oath and stuff like that, but a lot of people walk off these jobs. Having understood how these things work, I have walked away from things because a temporary gain of a small amount of money, which in my case it really was just not even enough to incentivize even some temptation. That kind of thing wasn't enough to give away things that belonged to my family members, give away things that belonged to people that I was going to meet down the road and possibly be helpful to. And it's just, I'm comfortable enough. And whenever I say that, I kind of flinch, because people say, oh, well, she's comfortable enough. Let's go make her uncomfortable so maybe she works harder. But I had to walk home I walked all the way home and never saw the bus pass me. Yesterday evening on the 3 bus in the evening gets all screwed up, and I don't know where it was, but I sat there at the bus stop for like 10 minutes, and then I decided, okay, I don't see it anywhere, I'm just going to walk home. It took me about 30 minutes to walk home, and I never saw the bus pass. And supposed to come every 30 minutes, but I either just miss him by minutes, or I don't know what, all gets screwed up. So when I got home, I went into the shower and had a cold shower so that I could re-normalize my body, and it wasn't that stressful. In fact, the sweating seemed to be really good for me. When I was sitting in the bus shelter, it was like being in a sweat lodge. And so these things, just looking at these things like they're normal kind of things, like they're a blessing, that, well, the bus driver's probably being a jerk somewhere. This three route is really a problem on the west side. And but I'm sitting here in this place that's kind of like a sweat lodge, and it wasn't until they came by with the whip cars that I decided to move, because then you're trapped in that little, cubby and with the gases. But gosh, it got so much out of my body that I felt so much better afterwards, after a cold shower and some food. But yeah, sometimes I was thinking about my I do 3 prostrations a day. um, I go in and I turn on some of the lights and I open the windows and open the curtains and stuff. And then I try to do 3 prostrations first and then light some incense. Sometimes I light the incense first because I can do it from this room. And change my bowls. And some people say that I should do 3 prostrations every time I enter that room. But I still have my sewing chair in there. And I think in a household, some of these things, if you do them in that manner, you end up on a different wavelength. And it's good to stay on that wavelength if you have support for that wavelength. But as a householder, and these houses just aren't designed for, in Tibetan houses, a lot of times each house has each room has internal and external access. That you can have a room that has external access, that you can use for your shrine room, and then you never enter it except to pray. You don't have to go through it to get into your house. And also in Tibet, the living room is not for guests. It's only for family, and it's the kitchen where you have your guests. And I have to enter through the living room or through the back hallway and all the private areas to get to the kitchen. So it's not always possible to do things the most traditional way. That was part of our tradition here too, was that you let everybody into the kitchen, but you're very selective about who got in the living room. And a lot of people, when they were designing this place, were saying, "Could you please put the door in the kitchen?" And they made it look like they were about to. I mean, we've got a window in the kitchen that could have been the door, but I decided to put the door over on the other side. So anyway, yeah, I'm dealing with some stiffness in my face from these drugs, and the Abilify and the Lexapro. But I'm also not dealing with the usual mental issues that I have with these drugs, which is extreme prolonged despair. And when the Abilify kicked in, I felt some structure in my brain die. And I think that it is literally possible to make structures in your brain and do it wrong. Okay, that's what I was going to talk about. The books behind me, they will tempt you into different things. I had some problems when I first started reading them about projecting my conjectures over what I was reading. And but I had practice in letting go of things and being subtle and waiting for signs and things. And I didn't end up in Supermax when people found my assortment of elaborate accoutrement. So, as I think some people might do, they are. I told people that those books were like a bouncing Betty, that you're safe as long as you stand still on top of them, but if you try to get off of them, they will explode. Because there was a guy there from Serbia, one of the nurses was from Serbia, and there's this movie called Between the Lines, between the Serbia and Croatia War. And so I was thinking about that analogy when I was talking about these books. I think probably somebody came in and searched my house after that, but I was just concerned that somebody might have been contriving to get me out of here to steal my book collection. I think these books, the only chance you have of reading these books safely is if you purchase them, and otherwise, I'm meaning mostly those. I think the top shelf has some stuff, but the top shelf is even these books if you buy them. But there's this other series that I've started working on. These brown books, these sutra books from Lama Zopa. I've gotten 6 so far, and last night I started reading Benzer Cutter, and I got 2 more. Benzer Cutter and The 10 Wheels of Shittagarbha, which is a completely different book than the Shittagarbha Sutra that I bought from somebody else. And even those books will mess you up in a different way if you obtain them the wrong way. But these are sutras of the Buddha. The Shittagarbha, 10 Wheels of Shittagarbha, is almost like a Buddhist Bible. And, I was watching this nun talk about working in the prisons. I was like the 11th person to watch this video, and it was a really good video. It's a shame this Buddhist Door Global. I'm not sure that I've subscribed to them. I'm not sure if they're getting a lot of viewership, but they do a good job on their production, and they're just good basic Buddhist people. And she was talking for like an hour and 20 minutes about her experiences teaching meditation in prisons, I think in Southern California. They were referring to the Dhammapada. Some of the prisoners and the guards were referring to the Dhammapada as a Buddhist Bible. So it's not really the same thing, but some of these books will give you that, kind of fill that space. And I think the Shittagarbha, the 10 Wheels of Shittagarbha, is on that level. So these books are really inexpensive. I bought 2 for less than $10. Some of them are like $5 or $6 a piece. So, no, I think I paid a little bit more than that, but yeah. But they're inexpensive, and they're like $5 to $13. That really inexpensive, and I don't think that's a reduced price or anything. It might be, but they're look up Lama Zopa and look at the brown books, and so Amazon makes these books available. It's really easy to get books. There are other books out there that aren't on Amazon, but that's a good place to start looking. But buy your books. Don't steal them. Don't contrive to get somebody kicked out of their apartment because you don't want to be on a list of people who have purchased these books. If there's a list of people who have purchased these books, it's one of your samayas to deal with those list makers, because if you don't have the permission of the king, you're not allowed to be a Buddhist. And if you're reading these books while non-Buddhist, you need special authorization.